There are a few reasons you buy a Subaru Impreza. One of them, and probably the biggest, is that it's about the only all-wheel drive car in its price range. And it's not just all-wheel drive, it's Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, and there's a difference, trust me. Also, there's that warm and fuzzy stuff. Proven residual value, reliability, owner satisfaction, and safety are all top-notch here. If you're into the atmosphere, you'll like that it's even a PZEV, that's partial zero emissions vehicle, signifying that this Impreza achieves a top dog rating for emissions cleanliness too. So this machine is a total go-getter, lately fitted with numerous updates that help it fight even more fiercely for your dollars in the hot compact sedan marketplace. There's a new and updated interior with more upscale materials, trim interfaces, and a higher feeling and appearance of quality throughout. There's thicker glass, more sound deadening, and a new central command system that reacts fast to your touch and is slick to use once you get past the learning curve. There's also storage galore for your pocket-sized things. The seats are comfortable and made of extra slippery leather that's easy to slide on and off of, and the chunky climate controls are easy to work with your gloves on if it's cold. The various displays and interfaces do all have slightly different colors and fonts and appearances, which makes things look a little disorganized, and I really wish the heated seat switches were somewhere else, maybe where I could reach them, but mainly the interior is a nice place to be. No issues with entry and exit, and all-around visibility is above average, and so is the feeling of roominess thanks to the low window line, relatively thin pillars, and plentiful use of glass. Room enough for full-grown adults in both seating rows too. And the trunk is generous and has a surprisingly deep and wide opening for easy loading, even if I did wish it had a handle to help close it without touching salt. And up front, you get this new 2-liter 148 horsepower direct injected 4-cylinder boxer engine, which is better on fuel and easier on the atmosphere than the bigger and more powerful 4-cylinder engine that used to power the Impreza. Subaru says that even with this more modest unit under the hood, performance is maintained at roughly the same level, thanks in large part to the new continually variable transmission, or CVT, now available, which does away with predefined gears to make more effective use of the engine's output. The engine and transmission work great together most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah, so here's why. Now, when you're driving this thing gently to moderately, the engine and transmission work really well together. The revs are kept low, that enhances smoothness and refinement, and it saves fuel and makes really good use of the low-end torque, and you'd hardly know that you weren't just driving a really smooth automatic. My issue with it is at full throttle. Well, this is not one of those engines that stays nice and quiet when you've got it opened up, and because of the way that the CVT transmission doesn't really shift gears, it puts the engine into a high RPM mode right in that noisy territory and keeps it there. So with your boot down, it's kind of a noisy experience. Is that a deal breaker? It kind of depends on the type of driver you are. But I argue that most people driving an Impreza most of the time are going to drive it light to moderate on the throttle. Not going to be an issue. If you're that heavy-footed boot to the floor driver, well, you're probably not going to like it, but you're probably going to get the manual transmission anyways.
Sporty driver or not, you'll love the ride and handling. Comfort and agility are balanced out expertly. Impreza rides with a comfortable tautness over almost everything. It's sporty and responsive without punching you in the spine when bumps pass beneath, and simultaneously comfortable and laid back in the ride department without handling like a wheelbarrow full of gravy. They've really nailed the balance here, and the light, quick, and sporty steering rack make it a good bit of fun to throw around some corners too, if you like. And you needn't be driving on pristine roads to enjoy all of this either. Speaking of seeing, there are 2 cameras that let the Impreza watch the road ahead with depth perception the way a human does, which is why this safety system is called EyeSight. And unlike a human, it won't get tired, distracted, or have a lapse in attention. Using the cameras and some fancy software, Impreza uses EyeSight to auto-regulate cruise control to maintain following distances, warn you if you're about to drive into something, if you're drifting from your lane, and more. It'll even cut the throttle if you try to take off and there's a stopped car in front of you. Fantastic. And so is the all-wheel drive traction. Watch this. Parked on a steep snowy hill, throttle down, and off it goes. You were waiting for a wheel to spin, but it didn't, mainly because Subaru all-wheel drive always powers all 4 wheels rather than waiting for 2 to spin before engaging the other 2. Result, traction. This all-wheel drive system grips the surface beneath more tightly than a Kim Kardashian unitard and lets drivers power through road conditions that see the 2-wheel drive machine slip and slide and spin. These Bridgestone Blizzak tires are excellent too. They chew into the hard pack ravenously, turning in massive bite under braking to get you stopped fast and putting up an awful fuss before slipping or sliding around a corner if you're driving reasonably. All of that to say they give the all-wheel drive system and the brakes and the other traction enhancing systems more grip to do their job more effectively. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive and a set of tires like these should prove an all but unstoppable package in the winter. Other notes, the auto-leveling xenon headlights included as part of the loaded tester are powerful and saturating, and for the roughly 29 grand they want for this model, you get plenty of other goodies including keyless engine start, navigation, a sunroof, and auto climate control. So let's sum up Subaru's boxer-powered winter-eating compact sedan safety superstar, shall we? If you're shopping this market, you'll like the winter-ready traction, very confident handling on slippery surfaces, easy entry and exit, roomy cabin, storage galore, deep trunk, and probably Subaru's brand reputation. The xenon lights work nicely too, and the ride handling and steering are absolutely bang on. Some shoppers will wish for a more organized look to the cabin's interfaces and controls, and others may wish for more refinement from the engine at full throttle. Plus, the heated seat controls are hard to reach, and there's no trunk closer handle on the inside of the trunk. Ultimately, if you're after a compact sedan that's comfortable, confident, and pleasant to drive anywhere, in any weather, and one with the latest in hazard detection technology and a proven reputation to back it up, the Impreza should hit the mark. The all-wheel drive is excellent, though if you're not set on it, you'll want to check out some of my other favorites in this segment, including the more refined Mazda 3 and the slick-looking value champ, the Dodge Dart. With standard all-wheel drive, Impreza starts at 20 grand. Thanks for watching.